Hello? Does it work? Can you hear me? Cool. Can you hear me? Does it work? What's going on? PBS? What happened? I know. It was a horrible accident. A horrible accident has occurred. My hair, it's regrown. My good sweet. My hair is regrown overnight. What am I to do? It's a horrible Halloween thing. So it probably won't last very long. Because it's cutting the circulation. It's cutting the circulation to my head. I always did tell you to stay away from those radioactive waste dumps. 100%. How's it going, BBS? What are you up to today? What you been up to? What's been going on? What's been going on? On here, the damn thing. There we go. Let's see if this is going to work. Tools. Switching. That didn't work. Makes no sense. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so today, level design, as always, I changed the clouds. They now actually disappear briefly after you touch them, and that's because, not touch them, but use them as a jump. And that is for multiple reasons. One of the reasons being, I've been having problems with the clouds not working properly. So as you can see, they're a little bit bigger, and they're not actually any bigger than what they were. It's just that the range of being able to jump on them is... The range of being able to jump them is the thing. You know what I'm saying? I found a 10-day challenge for figure drawing. Then yesterday I was in Young Khan's stream doing a drink and draw. That sounds awesome. That sounds productive. That sounds really good. I think I saw one of your posts on, I think it was Twitter, I'm not sure, for the Young Khan thing. That's cool. I gotta take this off. It's actually killing my head. Oh my goodness, saved. I'm saved. Okay, let's, I guess, level design today. I kinda don't want to do level design, but at the same time, I've got to do level design. Unless there's like a... Oh my goodness. This is a tune. What's going on, Tails? You just missed my afro. I had to take it off though. My head was killing. How's it going? Right, so I think maybe level design, maybe something else. I don't know. Good old level design, yes, it's a true horror. It's a true horror. There's a couple of like Halloweeny games I wanted to play, but I'm not sure if I want to do that now. I kinda just want to do some level design, make some more progress on this heckin' game. I changed the clouds up a little bit, so they're much bigger now, and when you jump in them, when the jump actually works, when the jump works, the cloud disappears briefly, and that's to stop from being able to jump again on the same cloud, because there's an issue where if the player if the player, like let's say this is the cloud, right, and the cloud's hitbox is the blue. There was a thing where the player could, and this was one of the problems I was having with the hitboxes for the clouds, where the player could enter, let's say here, do a double, here, do a double, I can't remember what the actual issue was, but there was an issue where you could like sort of double jump twice, and you were able to gain like a huge amount of ground up to areas you're not even supposed to be able to get up to. And I think there was also some sort of issue with double jumping and jump buffering, where the buffered jumps and double jumps will happen at the same time. So something crazy was going on there. I had to do a whole other new rewrite of the player script. So we're up to player script version 7 now, basically. But I think it was something like where if you corner clip through the cloud and then went in it again, that was it. Yeah, you could corner clip into the cloud to get further, and then you could double jump again here to get higher. So it was like bing bing like that, and you could go crazy. It was kind of stupid, and it was really weird. Showed up just in time for Scandroid. Yes, the music. This playlist, it's just your playlist. It's your playlist, I know. It works, I can't chat too much. No worries, BBS. Hope work's going alright on Halloween. So, I've changed all of this stuff. I don't know why my scenes aren't automatically switching. Thoughts. Oh, that's why. So, the game's name, is gonna be Plantfall. Now, we had a couple of options. Actually, had a million options. We had sprouting. We had Oops-a-daisy. We had what else do we have? Just sprouts. I really liked up. I really liked uproot. That was good. That was taken though, so can't do that one. Sprouts taken, can't do that one. Oops-a-daisy. The problem with let me just get my list up. Let me just get the list up. One sec. Oh yeah, there was oh shoot, like that. There was just shoot. There was growth. There was root shoot. There was rooting. There was blooming. There was bloom. You know, there's a bunch. There's vine. There was grow up. Maybe don't take recommendations, but what about grow up? It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's like I'm going with Plantfall, and I like Plantfall for various reasons. It's kind of like platform and Platfall, which was another idea I had, but then Katie suggested the Plantfall. And obviously it's what the game's about. You're a plant and you fall, and also it's to do with the story, which we know about as well, if you know about it. So Plantfall is what it is. So, oh shoot, no, go, no. And the reason Oops-a-daisy didn't make it in the end, I like Oops-a-daisy, but it has sort of like a childish... It has sort of a childish connotation, which is... It has sort of childish connotation because that's what it means. Is like it's like when a kid falls over, you go oops-a-daisy kind of thing. But you know, grow up's pretty good. But to me, the initial sort of feeling I get from grow up is like a sort of like an emotional game. You know what I mean? And not emotional in the sense that like rage emotion, mostly like, you know, like a different kind of emotional game. Maybe it would suit a narrative type game, you know what I mean? But it's pretty good. I do see where you're coming from. The grow, the plants, the going, and you go up. It's a good suggestion. But it's going to be Plantfall. I've already submitted it to Steam, and actually, you have to it's not as simple as just changing the name. I've changed all the names and stuff, But it's not as simple as just changing the name. You have to contact Steam if your page is already visible and give them reasons for why you should change the name, if there's any legal reasons. And I'm hoping they don't come back and say your game, people have already wishlisted your game and you're sort of giving them something they don't expect now, blah 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 blah. So it's kind of annoying, but hopefully all should be good. All should be good. Hey big boss, what's going on next? How you doing? New name, what's going on? Zai, yeah, definitely. Oh, oops, sure thing. All up Vine Flats. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. So yeah, I think it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. Have this on at the start of the stream. I mean, I could probably keep it on because it doesn't affect my head like this. I think we can just do some level design, I think. You're not bold, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, one sec. So it's basically level design again, and the last couple of things have changed. Not much though. I had a problem. I had to do some testing with the plants, the double jumps, because the double jumps weren't working. So I've had to fix them, and I've also changed how they work. They now disappear when you're in them, because that means you can't jump in them twice. Because I had this problem where you could jump in, oh that was it, you could jump through the bottom, double jump here and jump up there, and you could end up like up here. Which was crazy. But also it sometimes wasn't registering jumps with certain clouds, and but the problem, there is another problem with these types of clouds, but in that it's not very efficient. Like the way that it works now is when you collide with a cloud, it kind of sends a signal to all clouds to find which cloud that you've collided with, so that the right cloud can disappear. It's not a way, but it works for now. Did you change the hitbox? Actually, no, I didn't, Zai. I didn't change the hitbox at all. This is actually the original hitbox. I just changed the sprite so that it would reflect the hitbox even more, because I thought it would be cool to have like a smaller, so the reason the hitbox was bigger initially, so this was the cloud sprite and the hitbox was like out here, right? And the reason it was so big is because there was no like there's no like jump buffering involved with it. So that having the hitbox so big introduced a jump buffer, but actually what I found was playing it like this makes it feel like unresponsive in a way, because the player can do the double jump here, nowhere near it. Egg, what's going on, Lem? How you doing? Thanks so much for the 5-month sub. 6-month sub. That's crazy. Half a year. I appreciate that, Lem. Christmas, you can go fully evil, bold man, villain, big mustache, little top hat, and monocle. Yeah, definitely. Christmas is cancelled. So with the old clouds, it kind of felt like you were double jumping without even touching the cloud. So I've just increased the sprite size to be around the same size as it, and it kind of looks good. It feels a bit more fair. Salt Oons, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So yeah, I've been playing the game, and actually this game might be a horror game in the sense that like this new section that I've built, I think from like 29 upwards, this 29 upwards is ridiculously hard. Like it is so, I haven't been able to finish it. I haven't been able to go from 29 to the top of the level once yet, which is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Did you look at my study? Sure. Post it in the feedback. Let me know what's in feedback. Have you considered nerfing it? I will actually not be nerfing it, because I think it's perfect. It's what I've been looking for with this game. You know what I mean? It's what I've been looking for. I'm not going to nerf it. If anything, I want to make the other parts harder. You know what I mean? Because it's not unfair. Like, it doesn't feel unfair. It just feels difficult. It kind of feels unfair a little bit. Like, this feels unfair where the lights go out and you don't know what you're doing. But it's sort of like a get good. You know what I mean? I need to get some playtesters in. I need to get some playtesters in to really see the levels, because I'm at this point with the game, I'm so like, what's it called? Like, I'm so like disenfranchised from it. You know what I mean? Or like, I have no idea what it's like to be a beginner with this game anymore. I have way too many hours. Made with a hard round fish brush, no opacity brush, but I blurred some edges in one. Sweet, let's have a look. So we'll do that. I'm only going to be doing that for not long though. I'm going to give myself a time, 5 mins, and then I'm going to do some level design. Have a look. So here's some studies. Cool. Already cool. Already cool. Let's have a look at these. Copy image. Go back to paint. Bill became a speedrunner pro, but just wait till I become any % speedrunner pro. Yeah. I think some people, if they enjoy the game, will be speedrunning it. I was thinking of giving it to 4th Page as like a super private tester, because 4th Page is really good at like odd, like really difficult games, so it would be fun to see how 4th Page does with it. If he's available. I know he's got like a new job or whatever. But the playtesting will come eventually. So this is your first study. I think you've done a good job, to be honest. I think you've done a good job, a much better job in these studies with capturing the shapes. You know what I mean? Like that shape, you can see it right there. This is the second one. Yeah, I can see you've blurred it a little bit. You've done a much better job of capturing the shapes and obviously looking at the negative space, not just the positive space. Like this is a negative space where the clouds would be the positive. You could probably extend that a little bit longer if you're going for like super accurate shapes, but overall you've done a really good job. And the color study is pretty good as well. I think if you blur your eyes, one cool trick for checking out your artwork instead of needing to like do anything digital is just blur your eyes, you know, where you squint. And if you squint, you can usually see the differences in value and the differences in shape pretty quickly. So one thing just from blurring my eyes quickly is I can see that this green patch of grass here is too light. This green down here is actually quite dark. Use the image colors. It's okay to use the image colors as well, because that's how you learn. You know, if you're using the image colors as well, try to look at it. Like try not to just pick it and just use it. Try to pick it, and that's cool. And this is your round brush one, I'm guessing, right? So there's no blurring going on here. I actually really like the style of that. I think that's really cool. Just firstly, and again, shapes. It's a much stronger composition. You know what I mean? Like you breaking this down just into the shapes without worrying about blurring and shading and toning and all that stuff. Like you've done a really good job of capturing the shapes there, and you've also kind of turned it into your own one, because obviously that little mountain has a little bit more to it. Like there's a little more shallow actually. But I actually kind of like the way you've done it. I think the composition that you've given it is actually a bit nicer than the photo itself. Feedback data now, not necessarily left facing. What's left facing? Sorry, but you can feel free to post something for feedback. I don't mind usually. I don't mind. I'll do that until 6. So we got 10 minutes. I'll do that until 6, and then I'm going to crack on with level design. So if anyone has anything for feedback, just let me know. But you're doing well. Keep going, you know. Keep going, Lem. There isn't much else to say, really. Everything that I said from the last ones, you seem to be taking on board, and it's just about practice, really. So if anyone has anything else for feedback, then you got 10 minutes. Like to us, it looks like red ground, but because of the sun going down, it'll have a blue shade that our brains ignore. Yeah, and also colors next to each other, like the whole color relativity thing. It might look red, but it could also just be grey. You know what I mean? Post it. No worries, left facing. Let's have a look. Is this yours? 69, David 69. Guessing it is. Let's have a look. So this is your character, some sort of anime style character. Right, do exercise proposal in a text file. Nice. Yeah, just keep going, you know. This is Ojo from JJK. Cool, cool, cool. I think, you know, initially you've got quite a nice sort of foreshortening going on with the big leg, which is going down to the person sitting upwards. I would say, like, perspective wise, firstly I'd say, like, maybe value wise a lot gets lost. It might just be my monitor, because actually if I'm looking in this monitor the colors look a bit better, but in this monitor the colors look a bit darker. You can't change that. You know, people just have different monitors. But perspective wise, it's pretty good. I think if you wanted to improve, then maybe some foreshortening on this foot. Because the way that this leg is, like, drawn out right here, it kind of looks like just a side-on view of the leg. You know what I'm saying? And usually when you have something which is foreshortened, will help you sell this effect a lot better. So for example, you can have the foot, right, like close up, and don't be scared to hide areas. So if you want to draw something, you don't even have to think about it in terms of a leg. Like, if we just draw this leg in terms of 3D shapes, like what the heck are they called? Square box thing and a cylinder. I don't know why my brain can't think of that. It's probably this, cutting the blood from my head. What's it called? Square box thing. Quadrilateral. No. What's it called? Cylinder. It's not a cylinder. What the heck is it called? What is a 3D shape called? Wow, my brain is just not working. What is that? It's a cube, but not a cube. Cuboid? What the heck's the long one called? Rectanguloid? Rectanguloid? I can't remember what it's called. What's a 3D rectangle called? What's that called? 3D rectangle. Cuboid. Cube. Not a cube. It's a long cube. Rectanguloid. Prism. It's not a prism. Here is parallel. Yeah, it isn't that. Yeah, rectangle. Long cube. No, rectangle's 2D. 3D rectangle. The heck is a 3D rectangle called? Why do I not know this? I'm sure I know this. What is a 3D rectangle? Oh, I can't believe I have to Google this. Box. It's just called a cuboid. I'm sure it had a name. Strange. Yeah, cuboid. Weird. Okay, so it's called a cuboid. But anyway, my point being, if you look at the way you've situated the leg here, it looks like a side-on view, right? So that makes the image look quite flat. Whereas if you cuboid sounds like an alien. That's what it's called in the UK, cuboid. But if you actually, so if we just compare two cylinders, right? This is just a flat cylinder. If you imagine the sort of curvature lines around it, but then do something like this. Right, this is a terrible drawing because I'm drawing with my mouse here. But imagine this, where you see this is the closer plane, right? The bottom, if you imagine the bottom faces, top face, bottom face. This is the bottom face, and this is the top face. Notice how the bottom face here in this example, which is foreshortened, the faces here are equidistant. You know what I mean? They have an equal distance. They have an equal length, an equal size. Whereas in a foreshortened cylinder faces, the smaller face is the further away one, and the longer one is closer up. And that gives you an idea of, maybe look at my hand, for example, right? Or my finger. Look how big my finger is. My finger, the plane of my finger, is almost bigger than my shoulder. Now that isn't the case, obviously, but when something is closer to the camera, or closer to the eye point, eye view, or whatever, it's going to be much bigger, right? So you have the size thing, but you haven't got overlap. Okay. Overlap. So overlap is, you can practice it by literally doing spirals like this. So it is hard. Legs are a bit difficult because normally taper unless it's pants, I guess. Yeah, pants are hard. I don't even worry about clothing. I typically don't worry about clothing until the structure or the skeleton is right. You know what I mean? Overall, your anatomy isn't too bad. It looks a little flat, but that could be just the style, you know? You have decent proportions in that everything looks, you know, decently proportioned. The hands look okay, not completely bad. I've seen much worse hands. The head looks weird with the chin, but that could just be, again, the anime style. Anime isn't the most, like, anatomically correct thing, you know what I mean? Because the way that the eyes are looks a little off. But perspective, this thing throws me off a bit, like the perspective of this building. I guess what you're going for is like a sort of a upwards looking view, right? So if I'm to do an upwards view, let's first look at what that might look like. So let's just draw it on a horizon line. Now, if you know anything about perspective and horizon lines, you'll know that anything above the horizon line will be basically will be looking up onto. So actually, with this character, your horizon line might even be something like down there. And it always is helpful to establish a horizon line because it's going to help you establish everything in a scene. Even if you're not doing an environment, even if you're just doing a character, having an understanding of perspective and horizon lines and all that good stuff is going to help out massively. So you might have a 1-point perspective like that, or you might have a 2-point perspective, which will look maybe something closer to this. If I can just do it, you might have, you know, one side from here. And I've said this like a couple times when we've talked about perspective, but the closer that these vanishing points, they're called, the closer these vanishing points are together, the weirder or more skewed your perspective is going to look. Especially in 2 points. So what you can do with this information basically is break down a character into their 2D or 3D shapes. So you have a character, if you look at what a character generally is, you can break it down into cube head, right? Even the most basic cubes are easier to draw than spheres. Cube head, cube body, right? Cube hips. So I usually break it down into like rib cage, chest, hips, head, and then legs and arms. And for legs and arms, you can't do you can do cubes. You can do cuboids again, but sometimes I like to do cylinders for those, right? So if you have an idea of how a character looks in a 2D plane like this, well, it's 3D because I gave it 3D, but if you have an idea of how it looks 2D like this with the right the proportions, this is how you draw characters in perspective. You basically then just have to translate that into the 3D world. So this perspective is a bit extreme, but if we look at how we would implant a character's shapes here, notice how extreme it becomes, right? So you just draw the shapes in perspective, just following your guidelines that you already have, right? And you can twist and turn the body and things like that if you want. And notice how as things are getting closer to the camera, they're getting bigger and bigger. So while here everything is sort of uniform, here you see the hips are much larger. And actually in the perspective that I've drawn here, there is no space for the feet because of the way I've drawn it. And the hands and stuff would be much, much bigger at the bottom here than they would at the top. But you get the idea really easily just from looking at this perspective. You get this idea really easily that you're looking up at a character, right? And the same goes with this, essentially, is what you're going for, I imagine, just because of the foot. So what I would say is if you want to improve the perspective of this drawing, drawing a horizon line, drawing your perspective lines and then break down your character into very simple shapes and just apply that, you know. I think when you get really good with 2D and perspective drawing and environments and stuff like that, you don't really need to do the steps of, like I said there, like I don't really do these steps much anymore. I probably will do something like this, where I break it down into perspective and then I break it down into a sketch and then draw on top of that. But other than that, like, you don't really need to worry too much once you get good with it, because you'll be able to see, and it doesn't take that much studying. But overall, it's really good. I think you've done a good job. I think you're just a couple tweaks off it being a little bit more realistic in terms of perspective and anatomy, but with those tweaks fixed, you'll have a much better piece, you know. So yeah, I think your line work's quite nice. Whip, 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 whip. Have a look at this image. Yeah, your line work's pretty good. Line work's quite hard to do. I would maybe omit the line work in the background, because they're kind of thin and wispy, but it depends on the style you're going for, obviously. But I like it. Keep it up, yo. Keep it up, yo. If anyone else has anything for feedback, let me know. You have 1 minute. Feedback requests for 1 minute. Quick, quick, quick. Get it in, get it in. Get it in. Gotta go fast. But I hope that makes sense with the perspective thing. Generally, that's the process you should go through learning how to draw characters better. Alright! It's something like that. Frick, thanks so much for the sub. 5 months. What a hype. What a hype. Let's get some hype in the chat for the subs today. We've got Lem, we've got Frick. Easy life. Thanks so much, folks. Oh, my commands aren't working. God damn it. Oh, there it is. Sweet. So, there we go then. Let's call it there. It's 6 o'clock. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for submitting stuff for feedback, folks. I hope that was useful in some way. I miss studying. I might get back to studying drawing and getting better at it, because I feel like I know quite a bit, but my application of it is lacking. You know what I mean? Probably because I spent so long learning, but not as much time like applying it. But applying it is the fun part, right? Or it should be. I think for me though, because I've spent a long time learning this stuff and not applying it, I kind of find art to be a little bit frustrating. So you got to try and avoid that. And that's why I'm saying, like, you don't need to study all the time, because it might actually reduce your quality of life when it comes to drawing. But I do like drawing, and soon we will be doing some more stuff, because I need to do the marketing art. I need to think of like capsule art and stuff. Capsule art for this game, Plant 4. So yeah, and I also need to do the storyboards, so I can do some for the storyboards. Oh, that'd be fun actually. Pardon me, I haven't done storyboards in a while actually. Storyboards, I usually find storyboards quite fun. There's something about, that was my favourite thing to do when I was in university. Storyboards were fun. Thank you for the feedback. No worries, left facing. Hope it helped. Keep it up, you know, keep it up. Drawing, the more you draw, the better you get. Simple as that. Sometimes you feel like you're getting worse, but you're not. It's just an off day. So storyboards, I gotta do storyboards, I gotta do level design. Always gotta do level design. I don't know if I really want to do level design today. I kind of want to do a little bit of storyboarding or something. Maybe we'll do some storyboarding. I was looking at the storyboarding a while ago, maybe when I have a few less projects. Storyboarding is it's fun, you know. I find it fun bringing a story. The hardest part for storyboarding for me is having a story. Generally, like bringing a story to life. I find to be quite difficult. Storyboarding itself is super fun. So these are the new clouds. Everything's cool. It's fun coming up with the actual shots and camera work. Yeah, exactly. And how they transition to one another and how everything's going to work. I don't... Oh, that was interesting. I wonder if I can make that. Bet I can. Thinking of your characters, actors, yeah. You got any like advice for foreshortening libs that have clothes on? I think just kind of what I was saying. Ignore the clothes while you get the structure of the body. You know what I'm saying? Clothes work, and it's exactly the same as your 2D to 3D idea here. So if you have a character which is 2D and they're wearing pants or whatever, and then you translate that into the 3D, it's going to work exactly the same way. So as long as you have an understanding of how pants work flat and how pants work, you can easily translate that into the 3D. And foreshortening pants is the same as, which is why I don't really go too much in the clothing department. But foreshortening pants works the same as foreshortening anything else, you know what I'm saying? That's fair. What's going on? How you doing? Windick, welcome on in. Thanks for the follows. So it works the same way, essentially. Yeah, drawing clothes before body can make your character's bones look broken. Exactly. And think about your... Exactly. Draw your character first, structurally, and then draw the clothes. Until you get good. Like, until you are so... Until you know... Until you're really good at just knowing, you know what I mean? There is just a knowing component to it as well, where it's like you get good. Like if you look at someone like the late Kim Jong-gi, for example, which is such a sad loss that we had, but he was incredible at drawing characters. But if you look at how he studied and how he actually got good at that, it was a lot of knowing exactly how to draw basic shapes in perspective. I did not draw clothes first, maybe I got lost somewhere. Well, applying clothes is basically just, you need to improve your understanding of materials, essentially. Like, clothes are just materials, aren't they? And there are a bunch of different resources online. I'm not the best at materials. Clothes is definitely something I struggle with as well. But materials and clothes work in certain ways, and the one thing that will help you understand how to draw clothes is understanding like the tension points in clothes. For example, like your shoulders holding, like look at the way my t-shirt is on me now, right? Look at how there's a crease. Where are the creases? Why are the creases there? You know what I mean? Like it's tucked under my arm. So there's creases going upwards towards my shoulders and around. And there are different types of folds and stuff as well. I can't remember all of them exactly, but basically you need to be able to represent these things in a simple way. And usually what people do, and beginners and myself have done, when you try to draw a shirt, for example, is you go crazy. You go crazy with folds and stuff like that, right? And while it doesn't look bad, it doesn't have a sense of weight to it. And one thing you have to realize with clothes is while your skeleton is a solid structure, your body is a solid structure. Let's imagine you're ripped, right? Imagine you're ripped. Your character's ripped with a six-pack. You've got no fat on them at all. Or their body percentage fat is so low. What you're essentially doing when you're applying clothes, or literally what you are doing when you're applying clothes to a character or a body or whatever, is you're putting a piece of cloth on them. and that will be while your abs rock hard abs might not be subject to that much gravity. Well, it's subject to gravity, but they don't fall under gravity the same way that a piece of cloth will. And that's because the cloth is hanging off the shoulders down, for example, right? It's hanging on the neck and down. You know what I'm saying? And if your chest, right? Look at, like, I've got quite a tight top on because I've just been in the gym. You've got to look good at the gym. But look at my chest, right? Where the pectorals are, it's stretching the fabric around. So the whole thing with clothes is understanding the materials, one, and two, understanding the type of clothes. Like tight fitting clothes will hang differently from loose fitting clothes, for example. You know what I mean? So it's basically, for clothes, I would recommend doing this. Simplify what you see, like reference first and simplify what you see. You know what I mean? Now imagine portraying clothes with marble. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Knox, what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, exactly. But if you look at the famous sculptors, you can see some famous sculptings, which is what I think you're kind of alluding to, Kim and Aid, with cloth, you know what I mean? The cloth sculptures, which are just absolutely nuts. So things like this, for example. That is crazy, right? And this is just because they're understanding. You can see the leg underneath this. But this artist has just an incredible understanding of how cloth works. You see the tension points here? Tension points pulling away. That's usually how things work. How cloth works, you know. And it's all affecting the leg that it's on. Really crazy. So clothing is hard. The way you get better at clothing is the same as anything else. Study, reference, simplify, understand, and draw. Same as everything else in art. Same as perspective, same as, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Study it, reference it, simplify it, understand, try to understand what's going on, and then draw it. All of that and you're good. What's that? S-R-S-U-D. Sursud. Sursud. Fine, thanks. Hope you two. Not too bad. Thanks, Mr. Knox. We're just doing maybe some level design today. I kind of feel like drawing now, though. I kind of feel like drawing now. Giving drawing advice always makes me feel like drawing. But no, I must do level design because I'm a scrub. You can still do jumps on this. I did have an idea for doing that. You can do a double jump there. I don't know if I want to punish that or if I want to allow it. Maybe I'll allow it as a... Or if I redeem 20k, then it'll just be a 1 minute sketch. It's not a real drawing. It's just a noob sketch. Thanks for the advice again. No worries at all. Best of luck with it. Part of me has considered going back to doing like daily drawings and daily studies and stuff like that, because I can't remember the last time I've done like daily studies. Maybe we'll change the stream. Maybe we'll do this. How about this? Let's think of a new stream. Think of maybe a new stream layout. For the first 30 minutes, we could do feedback. Oh wait, hold on. I was thinking of changing it. So I stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? 1 minute sketch. Hi, what are we going to sketch today? Do that just in a sec. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was thinking maybe for the first hour I could do drawing practice, maybe like art learning. Maybe like art learning or practice, like picking a topic every week and doing the same thing, and then it'll just be whatever else I do. I don't know. I'm just overthinking it. I hate when I always did that. When I've done that in the past, it's just been kind of crazy. Yourself wearing a toga and laurel wreath on your head, holding wine. Obviously with big muscles. Okay. So firstly, you have to do the alien head. Hold on. Alien head. I'm not going to put the glasses on. Eyes. Big nose. SpongeBob teeth. Ears. Feeling things. Forget mustache. And little bits of hair. A toga and laurel wreath on your head. What the heck is a laurel wreath? Is that one of those things? I'm just gonna do this. Guess it's flowers. That works. Don't forget the realistic anatomy here. The oblique muscles. I'll get rid of this. This hand will have the wine in it. This hand sucks. I imagine myself, it wouldn't be a glass of wine. It would be just a straight up bottle of wine. No foreshortening today. Do my little pinky finger up. Now with the arm in this position, it's going to be the... It's one thing with anatomy is knowing which muscles are going to be on display. So on this side it's not the biceps, it's the triceps. Pixel art student, you've rated at a strange time. Just drawn a self-portrait here. And you mustn't forget to always skip leg day. What's going on, Pixel art student? Welcome to the stream. How's it going? What were you working on? How was your stream? How's everyone doing today? Happy Halloween, everyone. What am I looking at? Kim and Aid redeemed the 1 minute sketch, and I had to draw myself with realistic anatomy, basically. I can't remember what it was. What is it again? Wearing a toga and laurel wreath on your head holding wine. So I'm going to draw the toga now. But I don't want to hide too much of this beautiful anatomy, so maybe we'll go the other way. Go this way. You know, it's hanging off. You see that? Beautiful. Beautiful. Get rid of some of the details here. I've seen videos of that. Looks really cool. It's like H.R. Geiger. Like H.R. Geiger, right? Style, artwork, spooky style stuff. Because it's hanging off my shoulder, that's where the main tension point will be. So pull cloth upwards there. It's an amazing game. I've heard good things, to be fair. Good on, Zogga, how you doing? Well, thanks for the raid today, I appreciate that. Probably going to be doing some level design today. Kind of sick of level design though. So I appreciate Kim and Ed dropping in the quick sketch here. The slutty toga, it is. What can I say? You know what? I'm a slut. Something like that. I don't like that part. It looks weird. I'll probably call it that. I think that works, you know? I think the anatomy's realistic. Get chest hair. I have chest hair in the shape of a pen. How dedicated to art I am. Don't forget my tattoos as well. I got a... On my right arm, I have a... sort of a dancing... I have a dancing... snow leopard. Dancing on a skull. Flames. By this cool artist called Jun Shihara did it. It's got a really unique style. Took like traditional Japanese and turned it into his own thing. But I've got that arm, and here I have my skull tattoo. With pen. It's like a pirate. It looks like a pirate, but instead of skull and crossbones, it's a skull. I mean, I can just show you. It's a skull and crossbones with a pencil and a paintbrush instead, which is kind of cool, I think. And I have a frog tattoo on my leg. Yeah. By Jun as well. Jun did both of these. I kind of want to get Jun to do this entire arm, to be honest. But it is what it is. There we go. Money, you know. Costs money to get tattoos. I need to draw more pixel art. I've been drawing the same art for a whole month already. What the heck? What you been drawing? What you been drawing? For a month already. What's going on, Boreal? If you're not following the stream, by the way, my name is SoulTunes. Hello, follow up. We do pixel art, we do art, we do game dev, we do a bunch of stuff here. Can I share a link? Of course, let me permit you 1 second. Pixel art student, there you go. You now have permission. Check it out. Oh, this is nice. Oh, it's massive. Whew. Very cool style. This is so big. Like a full-on illustration. It's beautiful. The pixel art student did this. It's very cool. I love the textures, the colors. He's done a really good job here. Looks really nice. Really nice. I'm not surprised it took you so long. It's a huge piece. You're crazy. I like it a lot. It looks cozy. I want to be in here with marshmallows. That's what this needs. Some marshmallows. Hold on. Let's fix it. Hope you don't mind. There we go. Yeah, I'll burn one of them. Why not? You're my teacher. I learned from you very well. I appreciate that. I have not taught you this. You've done a lot of your own work. That's for sure. That's incredible. Keep it up, yo. I'm interested to see more. Let me know when it's finished. Let me know when it's finished and we'll check it out again. That's sick. Very nice. Very nice. But I mean, there's no muscles in it, so you haven't learned enough. You need more muscles. More muscles and more bold characters. If there's no bold characters and no muscles, then you haven't learned enough. It's how you unlock art. How art becomes perfect. What are you drawing? Oh, this was just a quick sketch. This was just a quick sketch that was redeemed. So we have this thing in the channel. If you have 20,000 channel points, you can redeem a 1-minute sketch. And Kim and Aid redeemed their 1-minute sketch. You're not bold today, though? Not today. Not today, because it's Halloween. I scared myself. Something happened. There was a horrible Halloween accident and I grew hair. But yes, that was a Kimonade quick sketch. I actually kind of like it. It's funny. Thanks, Kimonade. It is now gone into the... I'm going to save it, actually, because it's funny. But to... I'm going to save it. 23rd October 31st. Wait. But... For... Kimonade. Yeah, so I'm doing level design today, probably, folks. It's suffering, pain and suffering. Pain and suffering. This is my little character, my little mock-up thing. A lot has changed. If you know the YouTube channel, you'll probably recognize Lumber, but not this character. That's because I haven't unveiled this character yet. But more will be revealed in the next devlog, which will hopefully be coming out after the next September video, or the September video. So I only have 15k now. I could have redeemed another. We'll have to do some bold booking. We'll have to do some bold booking, won't we? Is there a September video soon? Yes, there is. There is indeed. I'm working on it currently. Haven't been able to work too much on it because there's a lot going on IRL. I hope to have it up sometime, maybe next week. I spent yesterday I did some work doing, only working on it for a couple of hours. Like I said, there's a lot going on at the minute. But the, what was I going to say? What was I going to say? I'm going to say something. What was I going to say, people? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, I spent yesterday basically importing everyone's work that submitted it to the... What the heck? 20% of the work that I've done on the video. And what does that mean? It means you're wasting, essentially... If you work... There's such a thing as working too hard. You know what I mean? In that you don't get... it's like diminished returns. In that way, you know what I mean? Like, there's a point of diminished returns where, like, if you spend too much time on something, you actually are not gaining too much more quality or results. You know what I mean? And in terms of videos, the way that I've sort of saw where that is, especially with tutorials. So the way I made tutorials was basically you know me, you know if you're from the YouTube. Yeah, perfectionism, exactly, Mr. Knox. Perfectionism. And I mean, to make this more relevant for you artists out there, how many of you have posted a sketch on social media and it's done better than work you've spent hours on? You know what I mean? This is an example of the 80-20 rule. People are just hyped to see your work. And less people care, not that less people care, it's just that the results are maybe not in fully polished work, for example. And that's the same thing with tutorials. And I used to spend, when I made tutorials in the past, I would write them. I would edit the writing. I would get people to help. You know, I'd get Katie. Katie would help me write it and rewrite it. And that whole process took the whole writing process took 1 to 2 weeks alone. And then I'd have to record it. Record it took a day. Basic edit would take 1 to 2 days. And the actual edit would take another 1 to 2 weeks alone. So that's a whole month. That's a whole 1 month that I've spent on a tutorial. A whole 1 month on a tutorial. But where's all my work going? My work is going into a crazy edit, and it's going into a crazy writing. right? However, some of my best performing tutorials are my earlier ones, where I basically just sat in front of the camera and spoke about it like I do on stream. And it's not that the audience doesn't care about quantity over quality, Boreal. It's that the value is not in the perfectionism. It's not in the edit. There is some value in the edit, like the 20% of the views might come from the more of the work, or more people might appreciate the edit. The value is not in the perfectionism, it's not in the edit, it's not in the crazy specific writing. It's in the content, specifically for tutorials. It's in the content, what I'm trying to get across, you know, the actual subject of the tutorial, you know, the learning points. I could, if I made a tutorial just like this, sitting in Paint and teaching people, that would be perfectly adequate for 80% of people who watch the tutorial. As long as, one, you're succinct and you're not waffling. Like, obviously you can't waffle. There's a level of quality that needs to be achieved. But for 80% of people who watch it, it would be adequate. So me spending a month doing crazy edits, doing crazy stuff, it's just like, you know, who cares? Who cares? That's not what you come here for. You come here to learn, right? You come here to learn. So the faster the person can get their learning, the better. It doesn't really matter the format, you know? So that's what I kind of learned, and it's the same. I found the same with art as well. You can go really perfectionist with art, and the problem with that is depending on your goal, you know? Depending on your goal. If your goal is to learn, for example, if your goal is to learn something, spending 10 hours rendering a piece, you know, rendering, I don't know, let's say you're doing a knight or something and you'd spend 10 hours rendering the armor, that is going to be a lower quality learning than if you'd spent 3 hours doing, let's say, 50 material studies. You know what I mean? Your ability to render metals after 3 hours of 50 material studies is going to be way better than if you did 10 hours of just rendering one type of metal. You know what I mean? So there's like an efficient thing going on there as well, in my opinion, from my experience. Might not be the same for you, might be different. People are different, things happen differently. But that's basically what I've learned. So I'm trying to make videos more often, which means I'm trying to reduce the amount of, basically trying to reduce the amount of unnecessary work that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Per video. And the ways that I've found to help that are no more green screen edits. Go to voiceover now. Because voiceovers are fun, you know, I feel relaxed when I'm doing the voiceover. No more green screen edits, do voiceover, and also no more crazy edits. No more crazy edits, just, you know, keep it necessary. And also no more crazy writing either. No more crazy writing, no more perfectionist writing. I literally do bullet points. I do bullet points now. I do bullet points and I just speak about the bullet points, and then in the edit I currently get videos out more frequently, and I probably would have a video out this week if I followed it perfectly. And also, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on in real life, as some of you know, I've mentioned before, so I'm not working fully at the minute. Amazing hair, thanks Antonio. I grew it myself, kind of. Then there's this, try to polish with render but something kind of feels off. Try to polish with render but something kind of feels off, and then there's the master art. Yeah, sketch is good because it's a sketch and it's expected to be messy and not polished. Exactly. Uncanny Valley theory, that's interesting, Kiminate. I've not heard that before. You just want straightforward highlights for me to learn, not fancy writing. Exactly, Pixel student. It doesn't matter. You just want the information, right? That's why people are going to tutorials, just for the information. I've always heard the 80-20 rule is when something... Yeah, there's different types. There's different contexts. But I've heard that one as well, Boreal, where the 20% takes 80% of the time. Yeah, I've heard that in terms of like game development. And I think, to be honest, that just has to do with your expectations, right? Where you think... Well, for me, you think that you create the game and the polish is going to be the last little chunk. You think that's it. But actually, and you think that's going to take, oh, it's only going to take 20% of the time, but actually that ends up taking up most of the time. And I think that's just because our expectations of the task itself are not understood. And I think that's because... Well, when you think of a game, you don't think of the little polish bits. And actually, for me, in my experience, when I make games, or I've made more games than I've finished games. You know what I mean? I've finished, in terms of like little indie projects, maybe 3 games. Like finished, as in gotten to a point where I'm happy with putting it out there, kind of finished. Maybe not, maybe less, maybe 2. Yeah, maybe 2. And 1 actual game, like mobile game, which was commercial, basically. 1 actual game. So I only have, my experience with finishing a game is only 3 games deep. You know what I mean? So my understanding of and I have experienced this, the final part does take a long time. Just because it's a lot of tweaking, a lot of bullshit. I always heard the 80-20 rule. I'm gonna go to bed. Good luck and have fun with the rest of the stream. Good night. Thanks for hanging out, Pixelart student, and thanks for the raid. I appreciate that. Keep up the amazing work. I can't wait to see that piece finished. Have a good sleep. I always start a game, get bored, and move to something else. Yeah, I think it helps to kind of look at it less as a hobby at that point, and start to look at it as like a task that you must finish. You know what I mean? Which, it kind of takes the fun out of it. It's so fun just making new game ideas, doesn't it? It kind of depends, really, doesn't it? Depends what you're trying to do. But anyway, we've been live for 1 hour 15. I gotta start... Deadlines help? Yeah, deadlines do help massively. Which is why I kind of want to be more... I want to be more efficient with the YouTube as well. Like, every time I've had a sponsored video, I've been able to smash out a YouTube video, and the video has done really well. You know what I mean? In terms of the time that I've spent on it. Like, the video where I did making a game in a week, I literally made a game in a week. You know what I mean? I'd never done that before previously. I also had to make the video in a week as well, which I also had never done previously. So, not only did I make a game in a week, I then made a video in a week. And it was all because I had this external force pushing me to do it. A deadline, and obviously the payment from the sponsorship as well. So it's really hard, I find it really hard to motivate myself to have that same kind of... I find it really hard myself to have that same kind of commitment when it's just myself doing it. But I think that just comes from like self-discipline and stuff. I gotta take this off, my head is sweating. Oh. Okay. Yeah, self-inflicted deadlines are never I never follow them as toughly. You know what I mean? If anyone has any tips for that, let me know. I think it just comes down to, like I said, self-discipline and keeping yourself accountable. Maybe some sort of other accountability, like maybe posting something about it would help. Maybe we should do that, like have a channel on Discord or something, which is all about keeping each other accountable. Like you say, this is what I'm going to achieve by this time, and everyone else has to keep you accountable for that. I think that could be quite fun. That could be pretty fun. I'm so sick of level design, I don't really want to do it. But I must do it. I'm happy with this area. My head hurts. Come on, we got this. So, what are we doing? Jump up here. Go here. I don't really get this bit. It's supposed to be like, you're supposed to like fall. You're doing awesome, thanks, Neff. I'm getting there. We got this. Probably just jump up there though, couldn't you? It's too low then. And what's the point in that? I don't understand. Let's go to here. Let's go to level 34 and let's test it out. I go to bed now too. Much fun and good night. Thanks for hanging out today, Mr. Knox. If anyone that isn't following already, drop the follow. We do a lot of fun stuff here, kind of. Thanks so much, Boyle. I appreciate it. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. So this is the game I'm working on. Got to work on some art. Yes, Kiminade. Switching to lo-fi hip-hop sounds. Yes. I might do that as well, to be honest. I might do that. Let's do it. How many levels are you going to have? 34 already sounds like a lot. Well, I'll zoom out and show you what we've got so far. We have all of this area so far, basically, which is... So the game, if you don't know what it is, it's... for people that don't know... What's going on, Necro, by the way? It's a sort of Jump King-like thingy. And 34 isn't actually... It's not like a level. It's just like... It's a level target. You know what I mean? So it's just places where I need to... Places I use to test certain areas, basically. But it's going to go up to there. So what we have so far, we're just over. It used to be 80% because the top used to be there, but I've added this whole new section because I have a new mechanic that I've added in. You know, scope creep. I know scope creep, but it's necessary for this new game. It's necessary, and I think it'll be fine. I've blasted through the level design so far. It's really just about... I blasted through the level design so far. It's really now just about keep going, you know. Like when I feel like not doing any level design, which is right now, I need to just smash through it, just get it done. Will there be a kind of checkpoint in the game? So the only sort of checkpoint, there's no such thing in this game as a falling checkpoint, in the sense that if you're here, if you're at this position and you fall here, there is no way to get back to here without actually getting back to there. It's going to work exactly the same way as Jump King. However, if you get to here and you quit the game, so let's say you're here and you quit the game, when you return to the game, you will still be there. You won't have to start from the start. It's not like you have to do it all in one. You do have to do it all in one, but you can take breaks and come back. I do have currently these break room areas where you can just stop for a while on the right, and those are located every about 4 screens or something like that, every 4 screens. So there are little checkpoint areas, but there's also obviously the possibility to fall down back to the start if you suck at the game. But the way that the game works, actually, and the way that I've played it, I think the way that the game works is there are sort of safety nets in a way. Like if you get to the vents area, which is the second area of the game, which is if you make it past the forest here, well, it was the forest, it's called the loading bay now. If you get to this area, it's essentially a safety net. Like, it's very, very difficult to fall all the way down when you're here. And that's because the only really ways to fall are down the sides. And if you fall down the sides, you will deflect back into the middle. There aren't really any gaps in the middle here, which allow you to fall all the way back down. Which is why this area that we're working on now is a lot harder, because there are gaps in the middle and you can fall down, which is why this place feels a little bit more difficult. But that's okay, because that's what the game's about. So no kind of checkpoints really, but I do need to do like a save system. I don't know how all of that works. I'll have to do some reading on like Godot, how to do save systems and stuff. I've done some saving before, but I don't know the best way to play this game. Wow. You see how crazy it is? Like, one fall in this area is like... It's crazy. It's just crazy. But it all feels kind of good. Ah, that really gets me every time. The one thing that I'm curious about with this is like shortcuts. The clouds offer ways to get shortcuts that I've not really considered before. You know what I mean? Safe systems boggle my mind. When you get into serialization and the like, my head swims. Yeah, I don't know about serialization. I don't know about serialization. I was just going to do a simple JSON. JSON saving system. Because basically all that needs to be saved in this game is your position. And the time, obviously, because there'll be time. There'll be a timer. Your position and the time. And that's it. Hopefully, anyway. I was thinking of doing, like, splats, number of splats and stuff. Every time you splat, like, a splat counter comes up. That would be kind of cool. Try and go for, like, a no-splat run. Although I think there are areas where you must splat. So that wouldn't really work. A one splat run. But the double jumps feel much better now that I've changed the system. Uh-oh. That is a problem though. I've noticed there's something that happens. This might be due to the size of the clouds. Were you planning collectibles too? I was initially. However, I may not anymore. I may no longer. Kind of scope creep, and it doesn't fit this as much as it fit lumber jump. Plans changed, yeah. One, it was kind of scope creep, and two, okay. Making the clouds smaller is obviously going to be harder. Gotta remember that. It just has to feel fair. Like, the clouds can't feel too crazy. The little clouds... Yes! That feels weird. Yeah, it was a little bit scope creep, and, see, that is not good. Is there any way to die? No, there'll be no way to die. There'll be no way to die. Because the... No. Basically, no. Basically, no. There's no way to die. There's no way to die. Because the only way to fall down is to literally fall down. And that's it. Why did I go there? Yeah. It's not about death or anything like that. I love the clouds. They're cool. Thanks, Neth Fairy. They're obviously just squares at the minute, but they will get there. It adds a new element to the platforming, and it does make things a lot harder. See what I mean there? You could definitely... Now, sometimes I feel you can definitely make... There's going to be some speedrunning tech stuff that, like, I just can't envision right now. Like, even I'm not good enough. Like, that! I bet you there's a way to get to that cloud. I'm going to try it, actually. I'm going to try it. That's going to be my goal. Is to try and get there. Right now. I must test it. This is what a good level design... It's there. It's there. Start at level 34. I bet you there's a way. Like, if you just collide with that second cloud, I bet you there's a way. Hold on. It's all to do with the approach. Oh! Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? I'm gonna keep that in. I'm gonna keep that in, and that's a pixel perfect Oh, in fact, now that I'm doing it every time, that's a skip right there. Best way to find if your game has speed tech, release a bunch of speed freaks into it, play test stage and see what shatters. Yeah, I should. I was thinking of getting fourth page to play, because fourth page is like nuts. Fourth page is nuts at oh my god, I can do that every time now. That's kind of cringe. I don't know if I want it in the game anymore. What do you think? Getting it wrong obviously has... What are the consequences of getting it wrong? That's what I need to know. Okay, I mean, you fall, but not a lot. It's not exactly perfect. Speedrunning skips should be consistent. What do you mean? Is it easier than the other way? It's way easier than the other way. It's way easier. The other way has you going all the way, basically this way. You have to come back and forget about the first cloud you went on, and then all the way back up here. And probably make it harder. I don't know how I would make it harder. Maybe, should be consistent if you want it to be meant as a speedrun skip. I don't know what you mean consistent though. Like what do you mean? Like what makes a speedrun skip consistent? If I bring that down, I bring this up, it'll actually just be not possible. So we could just remove it. No, it's still possible. It's still possible to touch it anyway. I guess the whole thing really relies on whether you... The whole thing really relies on whether you have the balls to try it. You know what I mean? Oof. Because if you miss it, you're kind of screwed. The whole thing relies on you having the balls to try it, basically. I might keep that one in, as it is. And it relies on you knowing... getting the jump perfect. It's much harder now. But it's all... This game is all about, like, your understanding of timing with it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get it. It's much harder now. I'll keep it in. Fuck it, we keep it in. Right, now I need to think of a new thing to do here. I might make a little break here, actually. So you jump off here. What happens here? Okay, so I don't like this area, actually. We love to see it. Speedrunners stay winning. Yeah, why not? Up until now, there haven't really been any purposeful left-in... like crazy stuff. There might be some stuff that I'm not aware of, but purposefully there isn't, you know. So why not? Let's give that one. We give that one to the speedrunners. I might make this like an actual fall. You know what I mean? If you don't bounce back off this, you go down. Risky but profitable is perfect. I think so as well, Boreal. I think so as well. So this area is currently empty. I was wondering whether I should put something in there or if I should just leave it as like a... Well, you fell. You know what I mean? You just fell kind of place. I think I'll probably leave it. I might do this. No. I don't want it to really be like a... gimmick. I think that's fine. So basically, character comes up here, has to bounce. I like this. This is like a double jump where you must bounce off the wall and then use the second cloud to jump up. I think that's kind of cool. And then you jump up here. You make your way up here. Then you jump, jump, jump up here. Jump. I might just get rid of the cloud here. Too many clouds. And maybe make a I've got an idea. What if we do like a wall bounce here? Where you have to wall bounce. You have to wall jump. You jump up here. You jump immediately, bounce into the cloud up to the next section. Maybe here or something. I mean, this is all crazy, but it's you got to go a little bit crazy. You could probably make that jump as well, but it needs to basically be not makeable unless you use the cloud. You can also do. I could also do things where they're makeable. Where they're makeable without the cloud, and the cloud is like a. The cloud is a distraction almost. You know what I mean? I think 3 is probably fine. This can just be a fall. That's fine. I'm okay with that just being a fall. Since you can go through clouds, perhaps you could stack a bunch on top of each other, so you have to spam jump to get up. That's not a bad idea, actually. Like a tunnel of cloud jumps. I like that. I'm actually going to do that here. I'm going to do that here. We're going to make the character come back around to here. Back down, back maybe around here. And then cloud jump up there. Let's try that. Oh, damn it. Okay, so that was way easier than I intended that to be. That was way easier. This should be... I literally did it first time. It needs to be difficult for me. Like, when I know when something is difficult to me, it's difficult. You know what I mean? So, like, you basically want the character to bounce off there. But I think it's because I just... actually not going to work too well. Because of the coyote timing. You still have quite... That platform, even though it's quite short, is not short if you are aware of the coyote timing in the game. See what I mean? So let's do the... balls. Ooh, did the other one that time. Didn't mean to. See what I mean? You see how you do have the chance to... You do have the chance to do coyote time in there. Ooh, but it is difficult. I wonder if it's easier to make it if you just spam off the wall. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit closer, maybe. Maybe like there. See, one jump with the clouds needs so much testing compared to just like normal platforms. Bloody hell. Landing there is a nightmare. That's fine. That's fine. I think that's fine. I think right here I'll put just some normal kind of, not even platforms, but like drops almost. It needs a bit of break. You need a bit of a break. I think 3 here, boom. 3 along. It's 3 along and 1 down, so there. I get the same. Keep it consistent at least. Figure they fall. That one isn't the same. So you can kind of just hop along here. I still want gaps. Like, not having gaps is not good, because when you don't put gaps in, you're making it easier to survive a fall, basically. And the whole point is falling, as we know. I mean, it doesn't even need to be there. We could make it really interesting. Could we? Yeah, we could make it really interesting. Yeah, why not? Make it really interesting. Have the character jump. Jump we could bucket here. Yeah, bucket's a good idea, just because... break, you know? Give the player a bit of a break. I'm always a fan of buckets. You bucket into there, and the next bucket that you go into, which can be here, can actually be a long non-bucket. I hate leaving too big of gaps, but you know, sometimes it's necessary. Maybe make it a little bit lower. So what I want to do now is I want to do that tactic, as was mentioned. Maybe we'll make it a whole screen long. One of my last idea for the clouds was just to have a bunch of clouds, not in a not stacked on top of each other, but just all around, and you have to kind of find the route. You know what I mean? Find the route out of it, essentially. And that would be ridiculously hard. Like, you'd have to really, really, really try. So I think this can be a little bit, maybe a bit bigger, a bit wider. Essentially, what I'm going to do now is just what Boreal said. Boreal, sorry, I messed that up. And put clouds, essentially one on top of each other. And let's see what that's like. That's about the same distance. Now, wall jumping is a little weird in this game, so... One, two, three, four, five, six. I don't know how far these need to be apart. I'm just gonna eyeball it to start with. Let's just see if this is possible, firstly. Let's see if this is possible, eh? 35's there, let's go. Do it from 35. I can add another level target in if I need to. I can't get up there now. Keep getting these reminder things by Twitch. Remind your viewers to follow. This could be a good time to remind your viewers to follow so they can catch your next stream. Remember, guys, if you're not already following, hit the follow button. You'll catch the next stream. I generally try to stream 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Remember to send me your credit card information, folks. Don't forget the three numbers on the back, the most important. Okay? Don't forget that. That's the most important part. 3 numbers on the back. Come on now. Just messing. I don't need your money. I don't need your money. I just need your attention. And we can make money. Together. Well, just me. But I mean, you learn skills that I'm trying to share. That's kind of fun, actually, Boreal. That's really fun. I think they need to be a little closer, though. Remember to wish list Plantfall. Yes, wish list Plantfall on Steam. It's not out yet. It will be. I want this thought. Bloody hell. Making games is fun. Making games. What's going on, Sensei? So yeah, basically, if for those of you wondering, you know, you can ask as well. I know we have the command, but if I don't mind talking about it. now because I don't mind talking about it every so often if it's not a constantly asked thing. Basically, the lumberverse is what I used to call the little character Lumber. What's going on, Sensor? How are you doing today? By the way, the lumberverse story that I had going on, that came out of nowhere when I was making a tutorial, and over time it grew to be this huge world with a huge backstory, multiple like threaded stories, multiple characters and stuff that I've all written out. And I basically tried to apply it to this game rather than, you know, I basically tried to apply it retrospectively to this game. And what happened was, the story of it is kind of like a beginning and middle, and it doesn't really have an end. Or this, in terms of this game, the story does have an ending with the dragon and all that stuff, which people want to see, but oh, that's sick. But with this game, it doesn't make sense, because basically the idea was that you're going to go up the tower and you're going to meet the wizard, but then it doesn't end. You know what I mean? The story, the dragon comes, and then what? You know? And then what? Dragon comes, burns the house down. Needs to be. Dragon comes, burns the house down, but then you don't go and get the dragon at the end of the game. So it just was a little bit underwhelming, I think, to get all the way to the top and it not actually advance the story at all. So basically, I've changed the story for this game based on a story idea I had for a while, actually. Kind of submitted this, kind of pitched my friend, me and my friend working on the game, and I pitched him the idea for this story. He didn't really like it, but I have loved it ever since I came up with it. So I'm actually really glad to be able to use that story in something. I know some people will be disappointed because some people like lumber and stuff, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. If you like lumber and you like my kind of stuff, then you will like this one even more. And in fact, I think this is a more complete story than lumber. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be using it. But we'll get there. So it seems you can only do about 4 of these. Well, I mean, it depends on your first jump, really, doesn't it? It's not as consistent. Oh, but it is fun. Not as consistent, but it is fun. Let's put another level target there just to test that out a couple more times. It is fun if you can get out of there. That's fun. Thanks for the suggestion, Boreal. That's really cool. No, we wanted this to be, might cloud jump into there. That's funny. Let's do that. Now this is the type of thing where I place a cloud here and we'll see some speedrunner be able to go bing, 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 ba-boom, bing, boom, bing, bing, into there, you know what I mean? You gotta go now, see it. Thanks for hanging out today, Boreal. Appreciate you. Real pleasure chatting. Hope you have a nice rest of your night or sleep or whatever it is that you're doing. Hype in the chat. I think you should just be able to bounce off there, right? Down, all the way down, basically into another tunnel. I think that could be kind of fun. Let's see. And 36. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's funny. Like that. What happens if you come back down though? It's hard. It's really hard. You can't do fall down there, but there needs to be something that there needs to be something that stops you. So you can check that out, I guess. I guess it could just be another tunnel. Like the other tunnel. That's the idea we've got anyway. Be like there, right? Maybe something like that. So I kind of want the characters to go into here. And then we could do another one going up. That would be really fun. Do we want two of them? I don't know if we want two of them. Kind of be fun. I don't know. I don't know if this makes full sense being there, actually. What's going on, Lupo? You missed my... Bob Ross. Halloween. Perfect. How you been, Lupo? How's your, how's uni going? Have you finished yet? Has it been 3 years yet? By the time I finish this game... Bloody game sucks. Who made this game exactly? That gets you into there, which is kind of fun. But it's not that consistent, like, jump-wise it feels a little trash. Oh, imagine you did that. What a noob. What an idiot. What an idiot noob. It's kind of fun, though. I don't know exactly what I want to happen there. Holidays tomorrow, so chilling now? Oh, that's good. That's good. It's good to get some chill in. Got anything planned, or... You're just gonna be chilling? Hardcore chilling. What do we want to do at the top, though? Doesn't make much sense. Who came up with this? I think I want to do something like that. Kind of like a smoke area. Nothing planned yet, we'll see. That's fair. It's fair. It's acceptable, you know. I will accept. Accept that excuse. For not doing anything. This could be like a panic jump. Panic room, almost. Where you fall down, basically. And there's loads of clouds down here. With platforms that lead out. Like that. Why? Why did I come up with such evil? Such evil! Who is the bold, evil genius? Maybe not that far though, come on. Kind of looks like a vent area, which is what I want. I want it to be vent-like. There's nothing here, which is lame. But I'll get there. I guess the problem with going up too much vertically is that you go up a lot vertically. Among Us? Yes! It's Among Us. Imagine this game sold as well as Among Us. What would you do if you made something and you made $1 million? That's a question for you, chat. You made something and you made like 20 million. What would you do? You looked in your bank account and just like 20 million. Go to the casino, put it all on red. I actually feel like you might do that as well, Lupo. Scary thing. Like that would. I feel like that's something you would do, Lupo, and you'd just be like, you'd just come into Twitch chat the next day and you'd be like, just won 20 million, put it all on red and lost lol W. This little W thing. Did I make that up? Might have made that up. That's good, you know, you've got a good reputation. That's what's gonna happen with this game. It's so good. Zai, please. Zai, if that happened with this game, do you know what I would do? I would buy... First thing I'd do is I'd buy... I don't know. I don't know what I'd buy, to be honest. I don't really need money. I mean, everyone needs money. But I mean, I don't really want things, you know? I don't really want things. There's like no thing that I want. Other than to be able to live and make things. I guess, kind of like what Lupo's saying. Wow, that's annoying. Kind of like what Lupo's saying. It would be nice, yeah. To just be able to... It would be nice to be able to make things with less stress. That's all it would be, you know? Make things with less stress of... Like, external stresses. Some stresses are fine. You know what I mean? If I made 20 million casually, I'd give $1 million each to my close friends and then hire the investment firm I work for. Hype. The problem, I think, with... I've read a lot of horror stories with people who win the lottery and stuff. I used to read these threads. Because I buy scratch cards, right? Not that often, but I buy scratch cards. And I like reading those stories on Reddit and stuff, which is like, has anyone actually won the lottery and what happened when you did kind of thing? Or people who've won large sums of money, what happened when you did? Those types of stories. And I read one, and basically a lot of advice is don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell family. Don't tell friends. Because what happens is when people know that you've got a lot of money, even family, even friends, their attitudes will change towards you. So you might give, let's say you have one family member and you give your family member slightly more or something because you're closer to one of them. Or let's say Tea House, you gave all of your friends $1 million, right? All of your close friends $1 million. Let's say one of your friends burned through it quickly. And the other one of your friends like did something smart with it, like invested it through that company. What would happen then, or what could happen then, obviously not talking about your friends specifically, but what could happen then, and what I've heard stories of, is people are like, well, they need more, you know, they need more money. They know you've won more, they know you've got more, so why aren't, and you were willing to give them so much in the first place, why aren't you now willing to give them even more? So people's attitudes towards you can change, and not for the better, you know, and people become entitled, or can become entitled to what you have. I fear if I made enough money to not have to do anything, I would do literally nothing. Oh really, Sensei? That's interesting. I can see where you're coming from. I think I would do things, but I would do them differently. You know? I would do them not with an idea of making money in mind. Like, obviously I'm making this game, right? Like, if I had so much money, that I never had to worry about making money, I would release this game for free. But because I'm not in that position, I am not going to release this game for free. Because I need to make money to live. It's kind of like tutorials, right? On YouTube. Like, I made tutorials on YouTube for free. Like, obviously you just watch the ads and stuff, but those like pixel art, the ultimate pixel art tutorial, it has nearly 1 million views. But you don't get a lot of money for that. And actually the smart thing to do would be to make a course. Financially, anyway. And sell it. But if I didn't have to worry about money. But I was able to do that because I don't have a lot of responsibilities. A lot of you wouldn't be here today, chilling with me, if I didn't make it for free. You know what I mean? In the sense that, like, you wouldn't know about it. So I could make things without the worry of money, and I think that's what I would do. Ah, blow balls, this area. I think it should be to say, well, I'll just play my Z game for a bit today, and I'll work on whatever tomorrow, and then tomorrow just keeps getting pushed further down the road. That's how I would like to be, but I don't think it would pan out for me. Yeah, I think for me, like, I've done the kind of, I've wasted a lot of time before. You know what I mean? I think I've already done that. So that's why I don't think it would work. That's why I think I'd be okay with it. Because I think I would, I've already wasted a lot of time in life. Like, I put 2,000 hours into Counter-Strike. I don't even play Counter-Strike anymore. You know what I mean? I need your discipline. I think my discipline comes from death and bad things happening. You know what I mean? Like my mom getting ill recently. It's put a lot into perspective. Like, I've never been so, like, I'm exhausted every day now. But that's because I'm trying to do something. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do something every day rather than wasting my time. Because you can waste your time, and you can, unfortunately, not do the things that you want to do, you know? I think in our minds, we kind of, at least for me anyway, I don't know if this is the same for you, in my mind, I have this idea of things that I want to do. Like, I want to make this game. I want to, at some point, make a music album, you know? I want to, at some point, make a comic book. But if I don't do it, you know what I mean? If I don't do it, like if I don't actually spend the time doing it, it's just not going to happen. And one day, I could get hit by a bus, or I could just die, or I could become really ill. So I've actually become really grateful for being well, you know, like feeling well. And every day that I feel well, I want to do something, you know, and not waste that time. I don't really play video games anymore. I mean, I started playing Overwatch 2, and this is how I know I've made progress on it. I started playing Overwatch 2, and as soon as I wasn't having fun anymore, I stopped playing, I uninstalled it, and I haven't touched it again. And that's such a difference, because back in the day, I would play Counter-Strike all day, and Overwatch, but I'd play Counter-Strike all day. Literally all day. I'd get in from work and I'd play Counter-Strike all day. And I wasn't enjoying it. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing games. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with playing games. And I'm making a game. So I advocate for games. They can be good. But if you're not enjoying it, then it's a problem. I don't know what to do with this area now. I like this thing. I like this thing, but I don't know what to do with it. God damn it. Good on you. Thanks. Yeah, it's a big thing. It was a big thing for me. And the discipline is building discipline. I really struggled with that for a while. But I think it's the fear of, not the fear of failure, but the fear of not doing what I want to do. That sucks. You know. That does suck. What the heck am I doing with this area? I like this idea of like going up and up and up and up. Maybe it doesn't need to go up that much. Maybe you could just do like 3. Because that many clouds is like crazy. Let's try just 3. Oh, I don't know what we could do. We could do 3, and then you can go either side. Left or right. And the thing that you'd have to do depends. You'd have a couple short ones in a row. Yeah, I'm thinking that as well. I'm thinking 3 seems nice. 3 seems nice, and then we do a bunch of them, like 1 here maybe, 1 here maybe, 1 here, which then takes you. This is like the ventilation area. You know, where they kind of experiment with clouds or something, which will then take you into this part. which will then essentially take you out of the clouds into the lab. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Like a generator. This actually makes more sense being up here. That's okay. We'll figure it out next time. By next time, I mean right now. So. Yeah. That's cool. I would make so much more if I didn't have to worry about money, yeah. It's kind of why I'm reluctant to, like, learn to drive and stuff. Because not only is learning to drive expensive, but the upkeep cost of a car is like, it increases your monthly... Like, I'm so reluctant to have more responsibilities. I know responsibilities can give you freedom in a lot of ways. Like things like I said, cars and stuff, and your own place. Rock my old car until the wheels pop off, yeah. That's what I would be like, I think. Like, I like being able to travel places, obviously, but it's the cost, you know. I don't make a huge amount of money. In fact, I'm probably considered poor. But I'm okay with it because I'm rich in time. You know what I mean? I'm rich in time. I have a bunch of time right now, which I'm really grateful for, because I can work on my projects, and I can spend some time with my mom and stuff. When, you know, my brother, I feel sorry for my brother in a way because he can't, because he doesn't live around here, and he lives elsewhere. He has his flat and stuff to pay for. So I think, you know, in a way there are just all different ways of living, you know, and it doesn't always, when I was growing up, it was always like a, you have to make as much money as possible kind of sense of living, you know what I mean? Or not just make as much money, but you have to follow the same system as what everyone else was following, you know? But I don't agree with that. Alpino Dev, what's going on? Thanks for following. Sultans, you probably answered this before, but why Godot over Unity or UE5 or whatever else? Or any reason, or just familiarity? Well, Sensei, I will tell you. I started with Unity. Basically, I released the game with my friend in Unity, and he had no experience. We had no experience of making games, and he had no experience of programming, which is insane. And over time, I think over the course of 6 months, we made and released a game, our first ever game, a mobile game, called Pixel Pirate. It's no longer on there because they didn't make any money. But we did make some money, and it got 50,000 players, and it was a really cool experience. And I wanted to learn how to program, so during that time, I learned C#, basically. I did some courses in C#, I learned Unity, I did like the ad integration and stuff, did some of the like, I don't remember if it was leaderboards, maybe, was it leaderboards? Yeah, leaderboards and ad integration, basically the mobile side stuff. I did some of that, and that's when I kind of got hooked with programming, and I liked programming. Then I started making my own games. Once that project was over, we were going to work on another game, but I ended up just working, we ended up just going our separate ways, work on other stuff, and I started making games. I started making games in Unity, and the first game that I made by myself was called Flying Pigs, and that's available on my itch. It's not very good, but I thought it was a decent idea, you know? And I used C# for that, and during this time, I wasn't just using Unity. I had tried basically all of the other game engines before. Game Maker, Construct, Stencil, Godot, Unity, all of them apart from Unreal. So the reason I haven't used Unreal is I think it's just a bit too much for what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm not interested in making 3D games, really, because I think the time frame for solo dev to make a 3D game is just, for me anyway, I know some devs are much better at 3D than I am, But for me, it's just not something I'm interested in. I prefer kind of like simple 2D or pixel-based games. So basically, I haven't tried Unreal for that reason. But I tried other ones, and I always liked Godot. But I had a problem with Godot in that, like, it uses GD script, which is, it's not similar to C#. Obviously, if you know C#, you kind of can pick up any programming language. But it's not industry standard. At that point, I really wanted to get a job in industry. So I kind of stuck with Unity for a bit. But there's a lot of things I hate about Unity. And this is how I changed. I went to Unity, and it took 20 minutes to load Unity for a fresh project, 2D project. It took 20 minutes to load it up. And that was just like, what the fuck? Why is it taking so long? And we also ran into a bunch of problems when we were making our mobile game in Unity, and a lot of them were due to deprecated like features, for example. So Unity does this thing where they work on some features for Unity, and then they stop working on them, and then they work on different features for Unity, and then you get a bunch of these things where you get like version problems where something works properly in one version and something doesn't work in a different version. And so we had this huge headache with Android, putting the game on Android and iPhone, where some versions of Unity worked with some plugins, and then